Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. Greetings, my people. Today is Friday, September the 6th, 2024, 9:19 a.m. And I'm not going to be long. I always say this, but I end up being long, some of them. But I'm not going to be long. I just want to talk about, I just got finished watching the Club Shay, Marlon Wayans' interview. And overall, I liked it. That's why I titled this one. Marlon Wayans Club Shay interview showed Vlad his worth. And it's kind of like a two-way. What I mean, that he showed Vlad his worth, meaning Vlad, that he treated him insignificant. He didn't even really mention his name. He didn't even really talk about it. He showed him how insignificant he is and how he only can survive off of black culture. Um, And he also showed his worth. He didn't even show it to him. He showed his worth through his family's comedic lineage, right? And this was my thing why because I don't agree with it. I don't agree with everybody. Lord knows I disagree with a lot Shannon do. Just like people disagree, I listen to some things that they do. And I think that's where the hater comes in, because a hater is just going to hate everything you've done, right? Or everything you do, regardless to what you've achieved, or they're always gonna find something to be negative about. They're gonna always find something to hate about. So, and the growth is able to be like, you know what? I don't really like this person, but I can support this. You know what I'm saying? I might not like this part, but I can support that. Now, if they just too far out there, then no. But anyway, I think this was a great interview to show a black comedic family, right? And I could go through a whole list of like Sambo, what I want to say, what's the word I want to use? Sambo, tap dancing, um, like not blackface, but things that they have done, stereotypical. That's the word I want to use. I could go through a whole list of that the Wayans family has done and find a laundry list of things that I don't like, but that's not what this live is about. This live is about talking about the family support system, right? And I listened to him, first of all, he set the table with talking about his parents. Because I always say we have to understand, we say experience is the best teacher, right? Experience is the best teacher. And I got a live on here, check it out, where I say how we experience each other. Our experience with each other that teaches us the things that we spew out. Right? And he set the table of saying that, he said his dad was funny, but he was kind of goofy. But he said his mom was, amazing. And he set the table of saying he had this amazing relationship with his mother. And even after his dad passed away, he would still take his mom out. He would still take his mom out and just show his mom a good time, which is beautiful. And he began to get in his family work ethic. That Keenan was not even really the oldest. They have another older brother, but Keenan was just that one. He was just that visionary. And I was a small boy when In Living Color came out. I remember In Living Color being new episodes. And I remember seeing as a little boy, not really understanding, but I can remember seeing like the battles and how the show was going through its trials and tribulations on Fox when I was a child. But I didn't really understand and what that show did in 4 years. Like I said, now I can go through the bad stuff and really show how they, how kind of they set us back. But also, if you look at it on the other side, how it thrusted us forward. right? That makes sense. And he talked about how Damon was iconic. He said Sean didn't get enough credit. Sean had a lot of those ideas. I think he said scary movie. I know he said white chicks. So he said, you don't really know who's behind a lot of these ideas. And I like their family concept, right? And it makes me I admire that. I'm careful to use a word like jealous but I admire that. I respect that. I respect that how they said Tommy Davidson would talk about how they just loved each other. They would on set each other. That real family bond, love. So I can see in hindsight for some of the things I'm gonna say later in this live of why he just looks at everything through this love vision, right? And to see how he said, because there was the thing that when Bronny was thrust into the NBA, pushed into the NBA, that word nepotism, I used it. Nepotism. Rick Ross came out talking about people didn't know Ron and Bronny. No, Rick Ross, you didn't know what nepotism was because you're too busy eating Wingstop and never reading a book. So, but he talked about how he and Sean had to learn how to write. People would think that because they were Wayans that they just got movie roles. And he's like, no, we had to really learn how to write. We had to really go through the same processes like everybody else. He had to really audition for more money. These things weren't just given to him. You're supposed to. However, they still have to have a sense of earning. They still have to have a sense of working for something, understanding hard work, right? And that was ingrained in that family structure. And that's one of the things that kind of taught them, just having to like how raw a lot of their ideas was. And when they were first shooting things like Wayans Brothers, like how the first episodes was kind of but as you begin to see time, you begin to see their craft grow. And I respect that. I respect that because, the thing that we have to understand is give your children everything. But if the joy is in the journey, right? The joy is in the journey. But if you push them forward in their journey and you just drop them off they're not gonna understand where they are. Now they will adjust. They'll adjust, but they're not gonna really understand necessarily how they got there. They're gonna know I was put here. But to say I worked my ass off and I got here, makes them appreciate the journey better. Makes sense. And that was good. That was good to hear. The part where, and Vlad, I'm so glad that Marlon gave it to Shannon instead of Vlad, because Vlad is your typical arrogant white boy, or small hat in this case, right? But he's your typical arrogant white boy because they always are trying to define Black worth. They're always trying to define Black worth. And for D.L. Hughley to be this, number one, I never really liked D.L. Hughley, right? See, I'm not one of these love, you just got to push positivity. I believe in balance. You know how Eddie Murphy in Vampire in Brooklyn, he said, evil is good. Hate is good. Because it balances love. And it's only preached to us that hate is bad. There are contexts in certain instances where you should hate something. I hate pedophilia. I hate pedophiles. I hate the condition that we have been programmed and put in. I hate the things that we have been subjected to as Black people abroad, but let's talk about Black people in America. I hate that we can't see the conditioning from the Tavistock Institute. But we always say, I wouldn't push this on. Some things I want us to get rid of, I wouldn't put this on my worst enemy. That type of mentality is what keeps them with their boots on our neck. Why not? If this is your worst enemy, why would you wish love and growth? Because guess what? Your enemy is not thinking like that. Because if your enemy was thinking with mutual respect and love and admiration, guess what? You wouldn't even be enemies. You would not be enemies. We are the only one that is programmed. Love our enemies. So I'm not this love person. I think anybody that follows me on my TikTok or whatever stream, they know that about me. My personal people, they know that about me. And I'm okay with that. And they're okay with that, right? But they always, back to Vlad's old swagger jacking self, they always want to define Black worth. Hey! They always want to define Black worth. Never mind audacity. Caucasity is buy one, get 375,000 free. And for people like D.L. Hughley, now, like I said, I don't get along with a lot of these personalities. But I never liked D.L. Hughley for several reasons. And I have a video also on here when I'm talking about him being fake pro-Black. And when I could tell when a person learned a new word. I could tell when D.L. Hughley learned the word denigrate. Because he used it so many times, just like T.I. When he used denigrate so many times. But there was an instance, Mr. Pro-Black D.L. Hughley, there was an instance where this is why comedians is like a fraternity, right? So a lot of them are trained not to see anything as everything is just open. And Marlon kind of alluded to that in my interpretation in this interview, right? But George Lopez made an extremely racist Ryan Garcia type shit joke. And a sister didn't take kindly to it, and he had him thrown out. And not only did he get him thrown out, he called her all kind of bitches. And Mr. Fake Pro-Black D.L. Hughley used his platform to go on and not bash George Lopez because they're comedians and they don't like the jokes. Let me say, I say this all the time. I say this all the time. I will pay for your joke. I laugh at your joke, but what I will not tolerate is your foolishness and your disrespect. So that's what got the shit slapped. That's what got the Sonic ring slapped out of Chris Rock. Because there's a fine line. Like they say, there's a thin line between love and hate. There's a fine line between funny and just flat out disrespect. So the fact that D.L. Hughley, Mr. Fake Pro-Black, chose to throw a sister under the bus and take this brown side showed a lot about him. But the fact, back to Vlad, the fact that he will go on Vlad and do the opposite thing that he's talking that why he won't support Shannon Sharpe. He said because Shannon Sharpe became messy. Who's more messier than Vlad? Vlad talks about everybody's business. Does he not? Vlad is asking the most criminalizing, intimate, just downright, how the hell did you know that question? And our people lap it up and support Vlad. Boosie is his bottom bitch moneymaker. And he exploits. He knows when he got an ignorant Negro. That's why he loves Boosie the way he does. Because he knows he has an ignorant nigga in Boosie. And he knows that ignorant nigga is going to give him ignorant content. And his caucasity to tell Marlon Wayans what he's worth. Well, hold on. And he touched on this. When he talked about Jamie Foxx, he ain't hate on none of them. Jamie Foxx, Tommy Davidson. Let me tell you something. I'm from the 80s and 90s. Tommy Davidson is hilarious. I don't know what happened that Tommy Davidson was not that next guy, but Tommy Davidson is hilarious. Jim Carrey, who was fucking hysterical. Kim Cole from Sinclair from Living Single. Kelly Cofield, the white girl. Rosie Perez, Jennifer Lopez, David Allen Greer. The list goes on. So as he was talking about, when you talk about one, you talk about all. You're not just talking about isolated Marlon Wayans. You're talking about the Wayans lineage. He wouldn't like what has the Hilton lineage done? What has the Kardashian lineage done? That's who's not worth a damn. And we get into these things because even though I pulled my support back from Monique. Once I saw how Monique was treating her blood son, I will unfriend, unfollow, everything, unsupport you. We also have the right to stop supporting fools. But I was with Monique for a while. I supported and respected Monique for a while. Because I supported where she stood with. And when they was telling her worth in that Netflix deal, again, them telling you your worth. They said Amy Schumer was more relevant and funnier than Monique. Amy Schumer. Who? Amy Schumer. Because I keep telling these, and you black people quit saying black people can be racist too. Just because you changed it. No, why don't we understand that racism is a power dynamic? That's why we're always happy. That's why they're like happy days are here again, because they got a melanated Kamala Harris. Big difference between melanated and black, but I'll talk about that another time. Because we always are happy to be here. So if we was on equal dynamic playing fields, now it could be bigot, which is a similar under umbrella version of racism. We cannot like somebody, but we do not have the power. Black men don't run nothing. We might be the face of something, LeBron James. And even when you do have your own thing, you operate like Tyler Perry. You operate like Oprah Winfrey. So to understand that they're always telling somebody their worth. And for D.L. Hughley, he can go on Vlad and talk about people. But he said his rationalization was, let me get him because I don't want to misquote him, and I'm paraphrasing a bit, that he didn't like the fact that Shannon kept trying to capture the lightning in a bottle from Cat Williams. And my opinion, whose opinion? My opinion is that he really didn't like his friends being blasted by Cat Williams. But Cat Williams stuck up for him. I don't know why Cat Williams said in that interview there would be no D.L. Hughley slander tolerated. I don't understand. That's a Cat Williams thing. So he really couldn't come because Cat didn't never disrespect him. So in my opinion, whose opinion? He had to make it about something else. Because he already a coward. You know, so for him to stand there and support Vlad over Shannon speaks to you and shows you he's not pro-black the way he's trying to talk. But yeah, just to hear that, you know, just because I know these things, being in the 80s and 90s, baby, I know these things of who all the Wayans family put on. The things that got kind of cringe to me, but then also, see, this is where I have grown so much that we always have to understand and have a discernment that you can like 98% of something, but that 2%, it doesn't make the whole thing bad. It's just that 2%. And this is what I want, because I saw a brother's video on TikTok that made so much sense to me. And he said, notice in this LGBT homosexualizing agenda, tranny Decepticon agenda, they mostly use black men, right? And Marlon Wayans has a transgender child. And this is what I also want us to stop, because in that comedic box, like I talked about earlier, everything is open, right? Everything is open. So with everything being open, there's no limit. And this is when it becomes cringe to me, when you heard several people talk about what happened at these Diddy parties. And also, we have to also still understand that they are trained puppets. They are trained puppets, and they've been, you know, we say institutionalized when you've been in prison for so long. And I'm gonna say it, can I say industrialized, like in the industry? So when they're industrialized, even though they might have some autonomous moments or free moments, they're still kind of under this, you know. So it got kind of cringe when Shannon asked, and Shannon knows, Shannon's not a fool. Never forget, Shaq told him, I know what you did to get where you are. And Shannon says, well, talk to me about these parties, because they always act like they don't know what's going on. Nobody knows what's going on. Everybody has been reporting, but nobody knows what's going on, because it's always silence. They know it, whether they have signed blood contracts and oaths. I can't prove it, but you can't disprove it. And that's what they like to take away, the polarity, right? Because they always say, I don't know nothing about these parties. Of course you don't. You can't own up to that. But the thing that I want us to stop saying, and they want you to be open until it comes to you standing up as a black man or a black woman. And it always get borderline cringe whenever they start to talk about real militant or self-respecting black people that stand under the banner of like stuff like this. And they said, well, you don't have to be so militant and the white man. Come on, cut that out. How you gonna pop noise and act like they don't control nothing, but then talk about how Harvey Weinstein and his ugly brother muscle jaw? See, that's the slippery slope that celebrities take you on. So you have to learn to enjoy something without getting hooked on it. I can enjoy what he's saying about his family because it's beautiful to hear family respect like that, family honor, family love, because that's what we need to see more of. So I can salute 3 times, one more, for the Wayans love and the Wayans, the way they protect each other and the way they stand up. But when you get on that shenanigans and that tomfoolery, I can't rock with that. So to say, I think he said Elon Musk, don't quote me, correct me if I'm wrong. Does he have a transgender child? And Marlon was like, you got effed up sperm. No, Marlon. Because now you're putting it on you. You're putting that confusion on your genetics. And then this is how you know we are scatterbrained, because we'll say, hey, God created this. So you mean to tell me this omnipotent, this perfect, all-knowing God that don't do nothing wrong is what the followers will say. Miscreated or put a girl in a boy's body and vice versa? Come on, no, that's technology. And stop saying because you don't support that you don't love your seeds. That's what that brother said on TikTok. He said we got love and support twisted. And we always say, that's still you. You gotta love them. That's what's wrong with us. That's why we don't know how to draw no lines. Because we support everything but each other. It's such a always a contradiction. Because they programmed us to be the ultimate contradiction. Right, Charleston White? Always the ultimate contradiction. We support us, but we don't support us. We love us, but we don't love us. Because like I said in the beginning of this, experience is the what? Best teacher. How we experience each other. They always get you to talking about just love everything. Love. You setting your children up telling them love everything. Everybody's not going to come from a Wayans dynamic. Wish we could. Not even the money, just the love. You can't set a boundary and not love your enemy. You can't set a boundary and understand that there are enemies. The thing that I hate where they have us trapped is there's that word hate again. The thing that I hate is where they have us trapped as black men and women that we can't even speak like this. We can't speak freely like this, huh, Cam Newton? We can't speak freely like this because we always taught that we have to hide our identity. Always be fearful of what a small hat is going to do, what a white boy or a white girl is going to say, because there's always that trauma in the back of our mind. But we can get on here and disrespect each other because there ain't no consequence. We've seen consequences. Have we not? Hit 7s in that if I'm talking right. We've seen consequences of when you cross the LGBT. How ninjas have to go on an apology tour. We've seen the consequences of when you come against them small hat Jewish community. Huh, Nick Cannon? And you get up there and pop noise talking to Dr. Bryant and boasting about being toxic. But you set your ass down and was studious when them Jews got on you. See, that's why we got to stop looking at the aesthetic of a so-called black man, because most of them are cowards when it comes to just using their voice for truth. So we always walking around tight and we always walking around confused because we can't never speak what we really feel. I did a TikTok post. I said one of the ways you know you might be dealing with a house nigga is they always, and I mean always, gonna put their own people down. If you say something negative about white people, they always gonna counter and put their people down. That's a trained thing. You say white people do something, yeah, but you can't say that. Black people do it too. But then we preach accountability to us. White boy go set it off in the school and they blaming the gun reform. And Charleston White get his old rolling one-eye ass up there and he blames Julio Fulio mama. And y'all lap that idiot up because he talks and he do all of his antics. He leads with disrespect. So what you think the ones behind him gonna follow with? Because he's not a real black man. He shows you his money. He don't stand for nothing. We keep saying, well, he told you he playing a character. Well, who's the real him? Think, my people. If this is a character, who's the real person? We know Michael Keaton is not Batman. We know Tobey Maguire is not Spider-Man. But he's synonymous with it, ain't he? That's how a little child identifies and say, oh, that's Spider-Man right there. But they keep telling you, and he plays on your mind, I'm giving y'all what y'all want. Yeah, you don't want that. You give, and that's another trans thing. That why is it that I have to say black women ain't shit? I could leave my TikTok off with that. Because I see it done all the time. Now that I got your attention, then I got to hit you with some real stuff. Because that's the dog whistle. I asked a question, and I'm about to wrap it up. I asked a question on my TikTok. It go down over there. I asked a question because a dear friend of mine, great friend of mine, she's strong lioness sister. And she was talking about a video of a black police officer that was saying he's tired of over patrolling his people's community while they under patrol white community. And she said, black men and black people, we got to be careful with going into the military and these police forces. And the triggered people came after her. And she had so many triggered American blue blood white men came in her comments saying, came in her inbox telling her she's just mad because she's the least desirable. Now, where you think he get that audacity? What I just say, Caucasity is buy one, get 375,000 free. And I asked black men on a serious note, do you feel comfortable going into a white or non-black woman's inbox telling her how ugly, how trifling, and how her men don't want her, and how just she's not it? And you know, they danced around like James Brown, like whoever you can think. They danced around. One guy was telling me about white people are dying off, stuff that got nothing to do with nothing. Wayne, you always got the self-hating ones, because if you hate a black woman, you hate yourself. We can love everything until it comes to your reflection. We can see everything that look like us as the problem, but when it comes to that, well, I told you, because that's programmed, right? I didn't get one single straightforward answer. And that told me right there, that was the answer. No, they're not comfortable because they're not trained to do it. Even if they have bad experiences with non-black people, they don't go with venom. Because experience is what? Your best teacher. We got experience because that's all we grew up around was our own. So all we saw in our communities was the worst of the worst. And we saw white people in passing. Even how they propagandized us with the Appalachia school shooter. I'm NGA. So I see it on the news. They're showing you how the community, and this is what they said in one of the things. The community has turned to God in the midst of this. Because they want you to think, even in destruction, white people are beautiful and loved. Don't you fall for that. I told you, read Propaganda by Edward Bernays. Read Propaganda by Edward Bernays. Images are advertisements for your mind. And that's why they give you the worst of us and the reflected best of them. How we experience things. We experience white people as nonviolent, even though they done tore up, oh hell. How is it? Now, let me tell you, and I'm about to wrap it up. Let me take you back to the bipolar nature that they impart within you. Because one side of your brain can acknowledge what they did. When we look at 40 years of slavery, when we look at, what was the one with Nate Parker, Birth of a Nation, 12 years of slavery, and whatever heartbreaking slave movie that they can show us. They can show you them destroying you. And then the other side of your brain say, we did it to ourselves. No, they trained you to keep it going for yourself. Hit sevens if I'm talking right for the people that's going to listen to this down the line. Why do I got to act like a clown like Charleston White? Break that cycle. We always talking about breaking cycles. Break the cycle of a black man having to put on a dress. Marlon Wayans said that. He said, no white man wanted me to put on a dress. I did that because get out of the comedic box. Why is it that you got to get open to everything, but if you say, I ain't comfortable with that, you closed off. Something wrong with you. You're homophobic. Huh, George Weinberg? Check out where that really came from. Y'all keep saying these words, and these words give action that you don't even know where they came from. Why is it that it's always funny, in the words of Dave Chappelle? How many times is it going to be funny, a white man, a black man in a dress? Because you know what? In my opinion, whose opinion? In my opinion, you know what a black man in a dress represents? Non-threatening, soft. I'm not saying that's what they are. Which is why they had to kill a strong image like a Fred Hampton, a Marcus Garvey, Malcolm X, Matula Shakur, Assata Shakur, Afeni Shakur, Winnie Mandela. They had to destroy that image and tell you, oh man, that's back in the day. I used to learn. When another way you understand you dealing with a house nigga. If they say, man, I know about all that shit back in the day, you ain't gonna go nowhere with all that black mess. If they say your pride and what you come from, the ancestor's shoulder that you stand on is black mess, get away from them. If they say, I knew all about that and got away from it, they don't know nothing. Because once you really download it with what's going on, you can't get away from it. Because it is you and you are it. Ubuntu. We got to understand, y'all. Normalize saying, you know what, I can respect this, but I can't rock with that. But overall, I think that interview was dope to hear. Because they want us to think the Kardashians. They want us to think, that's why I like wrestling. And the bloodline. Look at that Samoan bloodline. The Anawahis. The Fatus. The Mayavilles or Johnsons in the Rock case. They got such pride. We allow anybody in our lineage That's what Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams. If y'all get a chance, read that book. I give out books over here. I'm not nobody's leader. I'm not gonna get up here and cross my arms and sit back like I'm just this ultimate authoritarian and this ultimate know-it-all. No, they people draw to me because they know, like my G said right there, good morning, preaching that shit as usual. Fire. Salute, man. I don't need 1,000 coming to me. I can always say this. If I get a good 3 that like what I'm saying, that's 3 that understand what they're hearing. Not because I said it, but because the universe and the ancestors put it in me to say it. And I could cower up and say, oh, I'm just going to be about me and my shit. That's why we losing. And then we'll say in that same bipolar mind, oh, boy, white folks united, Mexicans united, Asians united, but black folk, well, y'all need to get by yourself. Fuck that, get on your own. How can we be about we and only talking about me? Now you have to have that discernment. There's that word again. To know when to deal with yourself and self-preservation, and when to know, hey, this is for the collective. But through our experience and how we keep experiencing each other, we don't even want nothing to do with each other. Oh, fuck them niggas. Niggas ain't shit. Stop saying that. And then we talk high and mighty and say, manifestation. What you think you manifesting when you saying black people ain't shit? I know niggas. Nigga is a whole different energy. But stop saying your people ain't shit. Because you are your people and your people are you. No matter how much you try to run from this, no matter how much you try to ignore it, you just like your people. You are the environment that you came out of. And that's what they want you to turn from. I don't have to put on a dress to show my little baby some love, to show my baby girl love. I don't have to put on a dress or a cheerleading outfit to get outside and work with her. Knowing the fact that her pops was man enough just to do it anyway. I painted her nails the other day, but she can't. And I explained to her, I'll paint yours, but Papa is a man, baby. Man can't paint. Man don't paint their fingernails. You got to impart that in your children. Because through what society is teaching them now, they're not going to know. If you don't set it straight, it's going to forever be like. So that's why we can't gobble the whole message. Because if you just push love, that shit is dangerous. Just like feeding a child nothing but hate. Too much of anything is what? Bad for you. We hear all of these sayings and don't even understand the power behind them. Too much of anything is bad. Too much of hate can destroy. Too much of love can weaken. Has to be a balance, y'all. But that's me, and that's my time. But stay sucker free, and y'all stay off of Vlad podcast. Please. He ain't stolen enough. He ain't disrespected the culture enough. So, salute, love, appreciate everybody that sat with me. I saw y'all. Even when y'all didn't comment, I saw you. Peace.